Hail and well met. I am Mr. Eager DM at your service, and my friends and I welcome you to Trapped by Hope, a live stream Dungeons & Dragons broadcast presented by Lawful Stupid RPG. Tonight we continue our expanded and enhanced descent into Avernus. Our players this evening are Silas the Paladin Fighter, Rim the Ranger Paladin, Typhon the Wizard, Jax the Rogue, Zelmira the Monk, and Falkren the Cleric. We will be minus Persephone the Bard for a few weeks as she's got an actual real-life gig with real-life people for real-life money. We wish her the very best, and we look forward to her return in about a month. My friends, it is time. I extend my hand, inviting you to step with me into fantasy. Release your hold on that which you know to be true, and let imagination rule for the next few hours. Last time, Conscript Group 14 once again delved into the minds of one of their own, guided by the venomous magic of Mad Maggie. Confronting the sorrowful memories of Zelmira proved challenging, but also revealing. As Maggie feasted upon the suffering on display, Zelmira gleaned several insights into her fraught mind. With the help of the psychic focus of her new companions, she was able to release some of the long-held grief she had over the death of her friend Samsiel. Sekhmet, her Tabaxi companion, also appeared to her, representing a lingering guilt over Zelmira's failure to recover her friend's remains. Finally, by recognizing the vision of her dead brother as a figment of pain and not reality, she was able to remove a blockage in her mind, finally recalling the circumstances of his death and where his soul is trapped. She also revealed that the party had long been in possession of a powerful artifact, a blindfold of celestial origin, its abilities as yet unknown. As the party returned to consciousness, they once again received the gratitude of Mad Maggie, who seemed very well disposed towards them once again. No doubt she will have more to discuss with you after the rest, but until then, adventurers, what do you do?
Do we wake from this feeling different, like physically restored, or has this mental journey taxed our physical bodies?
Given that no one died, so to speak, in the actual mindscape, there are no exhaustion points to be had here. You all awake in the same state that you were when you first went under.
Cool.
So full health.
Yeah, sure.
Can confirm.
Zelmira, how does Zelmira look?
I do believe we had a few moments at the end of last game. Zelmira described herself. Well, go ahead and re-describe yourself, Zelmira.
So Zelmira, having just muted myself. Zelmira, having just experienced this really challenging moment. It was one of those moments in life where, you know, it could either break you or make you stronger, and it has strengthened her resolve. So she emerges, haha, fool! So she emerges from this hellscape much more sure of herself. She's got a new outlook on life, you know. No, but she's
got a new attitude.
She just read The Secret.
She's got a new attitude. She just read The Secret. You can buy it online. But she definitely looks like someone who has more purpose. She's less kind of afloat in her own mental space. She's a very present person now.
Very good.
So there's definitely a notable difference.
Does that answer your question, Typhon?
Yes.
So
I was more wondering
described-
about myself. I wasn't really asking about her, but that's good to know.
Fair enough. She sucks.
Got it. So, yes, you awaken. It's very similar to waking up from a deep sleep. There's slight residual fog, and the most interesting thing about the sensation is that you did expend resources while you were in the dreamscape. You had spells that you cast, and they felt very real at the moment, but you awaken, and after a brief moment of disorientation, you realize you still have those at your disposal. They were not used up. They were only used mentally.
What time of when in the day did this happen? I'm trying
It's
to
difficult
remember.
to track time with the way things here are in Avernus. This happened relatively late in the day, and as you wake from this mind jaunt, you're aware that it's actually just about time for an actual sleep as well. So, but you have a few moments to converse.
That's a very generous way to describe that. A mind jaunt. A jaunt, if you will.
A dream jaunt.
A dream job.
Journey of the mind.
Liked it.
So it is about time to rest.
It
you
is.
said? Okay. Are Chuka and Clunk currently working on repairing our war machine?
Yes, they are. You see them over there working. You have never seen them not working there, actually. They are in their little corner on the side, sort of squawking at each other and occasionally turning a bolt or twisting a knob. They're in the process of converting the aperture that holds the wrecking ball in the back of the bloodstone to something that can easily be removed and replaced with a grappling winch.
We're getting a convertible, guys.
Finally.
Can we get like a what do they call a little hood spoiler for it?
Oh, hood ornament.
Yeah. We'll put a little Lulu on the front. There's just a little metal celestial on the
It
helm.
only counts if it
Oh, the
actually
front of
contains
the-
her soul.
The front of the bloodstone, right over the chompers. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally into it.
It'll be
It has to
especially-
be it has to be like a non-stick material so that the demon gore and innocent blood or mix thereof doesn't stain and corrode it
Oh my
away.
God.
Rim,
So-
Rim, be careful. I
I
think Typhon's having a medieval life crisis.
I'm just trying to get in the headspace. It's been a few
week,
weeks.
and
It has been, yeah.
Everyone will
all right,
just
guys.
make
Take your
inane
time.
comments about our vehicle while we try to figure out what we're actually supposed to do. Come on, join me. No, so what was our next step that we were going to do?
Well,
We needed
you
to-
are. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say we had searched through the junk pile for a bit of armor, but we still need to re-armor a handful of our players. which I
They're
think
not
is-
here.
Which I assume would be part of the negotiation with Maggie, if possible.
Yeah.
and then-
There was that, but after that, like there was was the next part going to trying to find
Well, we had
big
prongs.
dragon boy himself,
Yeah.
Well, we
you
could
have,
either-
Yeah, you
Go
have.
ahead.
spelled BOI. Yeah.
Right. You have a direction. You have made a arrangement with Amanazro, who is to contact you soon. Perhaps more will be made clear upon that.
And then now
event.
we have insight into some of the tasks that Zelmira needs
Yes.
to accomplish.
Where could you remind us where the soul of her brother's being held? Did we?
Zelmira?
DM, could you remind us where the soul of my brother's being held? Thank you so much.
So Mahadi has an entrance to his private chamber that is only visible through
That rag, which I have.
yes, and he was Artem was killed in his private chamber, and his soul is trapped there within.
Oh.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure Samus knew. So.
Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
All right, good.
All her brains leaked out with her smoky eye.
That's science.
So now that I realise I'm carrying a new magical
You
item,
either
can I
have
equip
beauty or brains. You can't have both.
So tell me about you. You have your flower. What do you do?
Well, I kind of like my flower.
You keep the flower.
It would die without the thing. Or is it actually a flower?
I'm pretty sure the flower itself is mundane.
Yeah, I unwrap it from the soil and hold it in my hand.
So you take the rag off of the soil and you hold it in your hand. It looks, as far as you can tell, like a normal rag. It is a strip of cloth that is dirty. It's been folded and refolded and tied and retied in various permutations. And it was being used to hold the sort of lump of soil that this single geranium flower was sprouting from. And you take it away from. What?
I tried to identify it, and it didn't come up with anything.
Did not come up with anything.
Yeah.
But you do remove it.
Yes.
So you have it separate. Immediately, you detect a muting of the color of the flower.
Does that mean it's dying?
Yeah, the very intense brightness of the colors of the flower begin to fade instantly, and you look at it. Before it was noticeable how not of Avernus the flower seemed, but as you remove the rag, the flower sort of takes on almost a twilight look.
If you put it back on, does it?
Yeah, does it revitalize?
Do you put it back on?
Yeah, I put it back on, yeah.
All right, so you wrap the soil back up.
Is the flower attuning to a magic item?
I don't know. You wrap it back up, and I'll sit there looking at it, and after a few moments, it's possible that it's beginning to regain some of its vibrancy.
Oh. Take it back off again, then.
What kind of flower was it, DM?
Geranium.
You sure
Orange
it wasn't
and yellow.
a Petunia?
Not even here, people.
Someone write that down for Ryan so he can experience that.
Not even here.
He's getting DMs from Ryan.
You guys all drunk? What's going on?
I mean,
What do you do with it, Jax?
I put it on.
So, do you wish, as before, one of the structures here in Fort Knucklebone has been made available to you all for shelter, if you wish to partake of it.
Let's
Although
do
the last
that
time-
and
la-
also
last-
do the tiny hut just
Also
because
do the tiny hut. Okay,
it's
so
a good
you-
idea.
You go into the same tent made of this thick leathery skin material, and held in place by large femurs and claws and horns of various incredibly large creatures. Difficult to say exactly what they are based on this construction method, but it's the same one that you were in when you were attacked before, and there's slits in the skin where the Mesoloths, actually the Mesoloth teleported in, but there's slits in the skin where some of the hands came through, and but they've been repaired. But once you get inside, of course, Typhon.
is Barnabas
First-
indeed in our hut,
Oh.
as he appears to be on the map?
I'm sorry, I'll be out of your way in a moment. Thank you again. I enjoy my teeth very much. I'm looking forward to biting things.
Like Barnabas.
I miss his lisp, but I'm very proud of us.
We
You vacate the area.
Typhon's first foray into dentistry.
Yes.
Before we do the tiny hut, I would also like to ritually cast alarm on the war machine, so that anyone besides Chuka and Clonk that try to touch it will set off an alarm.
Oh, how disappointing. Yes, very well. You cast alarm on the bloodstone. Do you have the ability to make it go all the way around? It is a gargantuan vehicle.
Gargantuan vehicle technically fits in a 20-foot cube, correct? That's like the
5, 10, 15, 20. Yes, it does.
so yeah.
All right.
Yes.
The bloodstone is alarmed.
And we wouldn't need to alarm Tiny Hut because people can't get into it. Is that correct?
Correct.
We didn't have that last time.
So, there you all sit.
I try my new bandana on.
Falcon looks contemplative. Persephone is repairing a piece of her of the leather armor that she has. She is, and all of you feel a bit more contemplative. This journey, this mental journey, has sort of stirred the juices in each of your minds. Perhaps things that you would not necessarily have thought about for a long time, or problems that you may have been wrestling. They're coming to the front. You have having a much more of a cerebral evening than you have normally had, which usually just running or fighting for your lives. But here in Fort Knucklebone, relatively safe, and you have time to ruminate.
Jax has the piece of cloth on.
Yeah, did you say you took it off the flower again?
Yes, I put it on my head.
So you've blindfolded yourself.
I chewed myself to it, yes.
All right. You put it over your eyes, and you are blinded. And sitting quietly for an hour, as you have gleaned from that vision that this was,
We found out it was a magical item, didn't we? You see that? Or did we?
Zelmira found out it was a magical item.
I thought the vision showed it was.
But I don't know if she shared that information with the group.
But then he wouldn't have done. Then that's just a metagame.
Well, the rag's out of the pot now.
Yeah.
We all. Okay, so refresh my memory. So we all share that particular moment, or was that like a private moment?
I think at the moment I had assumed that it would be a private moment for Zelmira, but I think that I did explain to everybody, so there must have been something that happened that then sort of
We were
informed the
psychically
rest
linked,
of
were we
you.
not?
You were more or less psychically linked. I will say it makes sense then that what, at least to some, you might not have understood everything, but you definitely made some connections which helped you realize that the rag had some potentially magical properties. So
Jax loves magic.
that all tracks. So you put it on, trying to discover its magical abilities the way so many other items are attuned with, and after an hour, nothing seems to have happened. It is just a blindfold. It's dark. It smells roughly of earth. And after an
Open
hour,
my
you look
eyes.
over, and the flower has wilted.
Ow.
Petals have fallen out, and it is dead.
I'm going to take the flower and see if I can extract any seeds from it.
All right, make a nature check.
All right. Good. +0.
Or
Does anybody wanna
survival.
help
Or
me?
survival.
Survival? Yeah, let's do survival. How'd I do? I can't see what I rolled.
You rolled a 5.
I rolled a 5.
Your humongous dragonborn claw carefully reaches into where the seeds would be and You crush it.
I could have eaten that rim.
It's just
Okay.
coriander now.
I will hand Jade the squished remnants and allow him to consume it.
So, the night is upon you. You may stay or do anything you wish. And eventually we will need to choose watches.
Yeah. Typhon would somehow make it known, or maybe just by saying, the first watch. Zelmira, I'd like to speak to you if you don't mind.
Zelmira was also planning to take the first watch, so that suits me.
Persephone
just
says, I'll take second watch.
Rim will volunteer for second watch when she volunteers.
I can't see anymore, so shall I take a watch?
Take the blindfold off, Jax.
I lift it up.
No, I think it's actually an improvement of his face, says Falkren.
Give her a quick look. I know you're joking.
I was totally joking. I wasn't joking. So that's first and second watch. And third watch?
Jax.
Jax and...
It's usually Falcon.
Jax is an early riser.
All right, Jax and Falkren. That's very well. So,
Silas
First
gets
watch.
to get the 9 hours of sleep.
right. First watch is upon you. I will need perception checks from both of you.
What?
Boo! We
Since
obviously
when has
get
that
nat
been a-
20s.
Since when has that been a thing?
Well, we're probably a little bit paranoid from the last time we stayed in this very
That's
same.
a very fair point.
I mean, you don't have to make
Assassination
perception
attempts
checks.
and whatnot. We do have a passive, is what he means to say.
Our
Mine's
passives.
not good.
I know.
Hey,
Yeah.
could I have the imp hover over the bloodstone as a double failsafe?
Sure, you could
If
indeed.
if the alarm sets off, I will command the imp to look at, obviously, and follow whatever culprit in case we need to chase that down. So we'll do that. And I roll a 16. That's pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good
So-
for my perception.
There is never a quiet moment here in Fort Knucklebone. The bizarre, insane, fey creatures, the madcaps and the redcaps, are constantly scurrying, squabbling, fighting, playing bizarre and brutal games. Occasionally, there'll be a loud squall, and one of the redcaps will, or one of the madcaps will take a pail of what appears to be blood and just dump it over their heads, thereby giving them the madcap. The red caps become madcaps. So
I, with my Kraken dice, rolled a dirty 20.
a dirty 20. So both of you are aware very much that this is at the same time easy but also difficult. The sheer number of eyes that are possessed of the creatures that live here in Fort Knucklebone, even if half of them aren't paying attention, the other half, by sheer law of large numbers, will undoubtedly detect anything that should try and sneak up on the fort.
Yeah. So my thought was this. First of all, it's a good point that Alias pointed out. We did get a assurance from Mad Maggie that we
did.
would not be harassed by her creatures.
You did.
So obviously we have a double fail safe on top of
Triple
her assurance.
fail-safe.
Triple fail safe. Yeah, very good. So, and it's mostly just keeping an eye out for, I guess, bigger things, and nothing can come in and hope nothing can harm our belongings or our vehicles. So I think it's mostly just looking out that direction and, just being aware and ready to rouse the rest of the group should something more catastrophic occur.
Very well. You are well protected, or so you think.
And I will, at some point when the rest of the group is asleep, turn and Zelmira, I do hope you will not think of me too harshly for my comments earlier about your brother, about your previous companions. There is the strangest... Well, I suppose it is a type of fungus that I'm told lurks deep in the jungles of Chult. It's insidious, starts its way into a wound and grows slowly but surely throughout the body, masquerading as, well, the body's own defenses. It can even, I've heard it can even trick certain types of healing magic, and the trick of it is that it doesn't fight back. It just allows an insidious infection to continue while the body goes unaware. Yet, when you recognize the telltale signs of this wound, I've been taught that, well, blunt force, bruising it, punching the wound, the infected spot, and creating an immune response, the body's natural resistance, the mind's natural resistance to being aware of being assaulted by such a thing, is enough to fight it off. I saw you overtaken by grief in a way that I fear was overcoming your perception of where you were, of what happened. And I realize everyone deals with grief in their own way, but I was concerned that it would overcome you and you would not be able to function, not endangering just your own life, but the lives of all of us. And so I pried deep, I pried hard to elicit a response of defense from you. I baited you. I wanted you to be angry and to fight and lash out against me so you could lash out against any other danger. I do not apologize. I just want to explain the coarseness of my words and the harshness of my actions, though I am well aware you are grieving and loss. I'd rather you survive than slowly succumb in this place where it is so easy to do so.
Delmira kind of clearly takes in what Typhon has just said and then turns to him and says, it all led up to what I needed to understand. I hold no ill will. I'm ready to fight and just be focused on what's in front of me. So I understand, and I hope that we can move forward in a more positive light.
What for? What do you fight for, Zelmira?
The only thing that I care about now is getting to my brother. And by helping all of you, I can hopefully help him.
Is it even possible?
I believe it is possible to at least save him from the torment in which he's currently trapped. I don't know if I can bring him back entirely, but he deserves to be freed from Mahadi's prison. His soul can't stay there.
Have you seen Mahadi be fooled before?
No.
In that case, when have you seen him angriest?
When people are trying to fool him.
Perhaps not a conversation tonight, but think of when the plots that he has uncovered and foiled think of the times when he's been most haughty about them, and think of the times when he has been angriest in presenting it. I do not know how such a creature would deal with subterfuge leveraged against him. But I want to know what the greater plots elicited and who perpetrated those plots. We can perhaps see who got the closest to undoing the will of the great proprietor of the Wandering Emporium.
Think about it. Thank you again for your words.
He nods and goes back to scanning the area.
All right.
Zelmira,
anything?
yeah,
Okay.
while scanning, will take out the glass piece that had been fully restored by Jax and, kind of just resume the sort of meditative action that she had done with it before, of just rolling it in her hand between her fingers while she scans the horizon.
Very well. Which will bring us to watch number 2, Persephone and Rim. Persephone gets up and stretches. Then sits down with her back to you, Rim. Scans what little to be seen outside. You pretty much only have the one gap in the... So you have your tiny hut in another tent. So actually, she gets up, she stretches, she actually walks outside of the tiny hut and sits down on the ground outside of the tent, getting a better view of the area.
Grim will poke his head out and just say, "It's a lot cooler inside."
Well, that's obvious. But I don't know. As safe as Typhon claims that magic to be, sometimes it feels a little claustrophobic. More like a trap.
Are you that loath to spend time with us anymore, Persephone?
You know, there was a time that I found your concern for me endearing. But lately I just feel it's naive.
Explain.
I can't imagine what you must have gone through in that coin. And every day I thought that the more friendly thing to do would be to let you go. But no. Each day we move closer towards a plan to free you. That was all I thought about. The saving the city of Elturel. It all faded. It all became about just this one thing. Keep my friend safe. Get him back. Get rid of this person inhabiting his body. And we did it. But there was a cost. I'm curious, do you think it was worth it?
Rim sits silent for a good 30 seconds, and he slowly raises his eyes to look at her. And he says, "No, I don't. But I'm grateful to not be there anymore. And the only thing I can do is do my best to create the best good I can going forward."
Yes, their newfound piety. Interesting how people respond to fearful situations. I myself have had a revelation And now that you're back, I don't think I have the strength to see any more of these people who, despite myself, I am fond of. I don't want to see any more of them lost. And that's what will happen. If our primary goal continues to be traipsing all over this place, trying to save a doomed city, we should be trying to get out. Maybe I'm the only smart one here. Or maybe I've finally let go of my illusions.
Rim looks at her very hard. I don't believe that to be true at all. I know you at the core. And the person I love as my sister would not say these things.
Well, that person never had to do or see any of the things that she has. And people change, Rim. Maybe I'm better off having my eyes opened. At least down here. Better chance of living anyway.
Rim puts a hand to his eye and wipes away a tear that's forming. So where will you go if you do not choose to go with us?
I'll have to think about that, won't I? She looks up. The only place I want to go is out of here. There's got to be ways more direct than what we're currently pursuing. All about making the right deal. At least that's what I've been told.
Rim looks to a scale that is forming on his head, and he extracts his claw, and with a wince of pain, he cuts it, and he hands it to her. My heart is always open when you choose to return. You fought for me, trapped in that coin. I will continue to fight for you are lost in a different way. But I will not give up. And
Aren't
he
these like
presses
fingernails to you?
He shrugs. Discard it if you will. But remember me.
Remember when you said you didn't think it was worth it. Because more is coming, Rim. And when you're given the choice to save one of these people, keep in mind that the cost might be more than you can bear.
Rim is normally full of wisdom, and he's at a loss for words. And he is just kind of struggling in silence next to her.
The rest of the watch passes uneventfully. Please make a perception check, Rim.
That is a 21.
Much as I described to the earlier group, this is the fort that never sleeps. However, you do notice with that higher perception that the denizens are giving this tent a wide berth.
That's why all the red caps have a New York accent. Right.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hey, got your red cap right here! Extra, extra! Okay. So, eventually you realize it's time to wake up Jax and Falkren, Rim, and you go back in. And as you do, you see Persephone stand and walk off into the fort.
Rim will sit with Falkren for a moment before he goes back to bed.
All
right. And Jax is there, of course. I will need Jax. I'll need you to make a perception check.
Perception with my Kraken dice.
Indeed.
I rolled a 13. That's 24.
24. You could swear that some of the redcaps and madcaps are talking smack about you and your friends. In particular, they think that you're a particularly unskilled goblin. Don't even carry any weapons.
Oh, that's true, I don't.
I'll start looking around for some weapons to carry.
Rim, do you have anything that you wish to say to Falkren?
Rim sits next to her and kind of grabs her hand and just says, I think we've lost her, Falkren.
She looks at you sharply and then her eyes fall and she nods her head. This place, Rim. Pebblemoss, he warned us. It changes people. We've got to hold on.
He holds tightly to her hand. If you see me losing hope, fight me. Don't let me
Likewise.
give up. And he
Likewise,
nods
Rim.
and tucks himself into bed.
All right.
What was all that about? Seemed very, very sad.
I think Persephone is going to try and find her own path for a while.
Where does it lead?
That's a very good question, Jax.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That wasn't a very
Where
good
does it
answer, though.
lead? Let's hope it leads her back to us or to some other place where people who care about her well-being are. I think it will be hard for her to find such things down here.
Oh, didn't Typhon say that you can, that he can send her home with magic? Maybe she needs a break.
I don't know what she needs, Jax. But we all... She puts out a hand, puts it on your shoulder, Jax. Need to hang on to each other.
That sounds
Help
a
each
bit
other
clingy.
remember who we are. And that there is more to our life than this place.
Oh yes, we've got a mission. I've got to get back to Shura.
Right. Back to Shora.
Elmira looks to the group and asks, will she be taking that dagger with her?
Girl, you sleep in.
Maybe I woke up Mama.
Yeah, you're asleep, Zelmira.
No, I like had a full, what's it called? I like travel in my dreams.
A lucid response. Oh, I have to tell you the lucid dream story later.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
lucid
sorry.
dreaming.
So,
Well, never mind. I don't do anything. I snore and maybe drool.
very well. As the watches go on, Typhon, the horrors of your early years in Chult are long behind you. For a time, there were hideous nightmares that came to you every time you went to bed, and you came to fear sleep, but you trained yourself through adopting a rigorous routine and focused meditation to achieve a dreamless state, or rather dreams that were formless and benign instead of maddening. You therefore find it surprising to open your eyes and find yourself fully awake and alert, standing in a place far removed from where you previously were. Far removed from Avernus, although perhaps not too far removed from hell. You are in the Blushing Mermaid in Baldur's Gate. You are in a back room. You could smell stale beer, urine, blood, wood smoke. There are raucous voices coming from the front room. This is one of the worst and most notorious dive bars in the lower area of Baldur's Gate. On a table in front of you, stripped to the waist, is the boy Bence Eltan. He is unconscious, and there is a red starburst on his chest. What do you do?
Look around me at first. Is anyone else in the room with me?
You turn around and you see, much in the same position as she was in your memory, Eastlyn. She's got a bottle of strong spirits in her hand, and she's slouching against the wall. Her jet black skin is covered in the telltale rosy patina of the red web plague. She's there looking at you. I think this might have been our first date. If there is such a thing.
This... Can I remember... Sorry, before I respond, what... Am I able to tell that this is different from my actual memory of
The
this,
only thing
or
that has
is
been
it-
different so far is what Eastlyn has said. Other than that, it is a direct reenactment of the moment.
Okay. I don't remember you looking so... ill.
Well, perhaps a little poetic license. But I have a question I've always wanted to ask you. What you're about to do here? Killing this boy and therefore ending the plague. I wonder, can you honestly tell me why? Were you doing it to save the city? Save yourself? And she points to your hand, and you look down on it, and you can see that the plague has already taken hold of you. Your close proximity to Bence has given you the same pathogen as half the city. Or did you do it to save me?
The infection spreading to me only made me realize what needed to be done immediately. I had considered what I should do about you, and if I could let you go. I decided I did not want to. And in that moment when I saw every peasant, noble, patriarch, and nobody reeling, bleeding out in the streets, reeling from this death, I realized that the most powerful mage in Baldur's Gate had the most powerful cleric, the most capable healers, and all the money of the patriarchs combined could not amount to the power that I wielded with a single rusty dagger in my hand and the boy's beating heart on a table in front of me. I wanted you more than anything, except that is maybe a bit more to live myself.
She grins, and nods. Excellent.
And so I saw the way forward. I saw the way to rally those behind. The way up. Not to cement bodies into a castle of death and bones, but to grow the grateful, indebted to your heroic actions. That is the way to power. Your own power, yes, but the will of others all pointed towards you brings a more overwhelming and, well, flourishing power. So as I plunged that knife into that boy's heart, I indebted a city to me and sought to do so again.
My, Typhon, you're almost a poet. She sort of gazes around the room and boom, 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 knocks on the wall. It rings like a wooden wall would sound, and I've managed to impress my current employer enough for him to introduce me to some very skilled individuals. This is a much more intimate form of communication than messaging each other a few phrases at a time. Don't you agree? Besides, with that ring of yours, well, this was the only way, really. I hope you don't mind me invading your privacy.
You're quite welcome to most of what I keep private, Iselin.
A blushing mermaid. You know, there is another establishment that goes by this name. I've never really been sure if the one in Baldur's Gate was just a coincidence, some poor attempt at some sort of franchise, or just someone's idea of a really bad joke. Have you ever been to Waterdeep? And as she says that, the walls begin to fade, and they take on a much more luxurious mien. There's mist all around, and it reveals this luxurious room of pale blue marble. There are gauzy curtains hanging down from silver cords that bedeck the walls, creating numerous alcoves of pseudo-privacy. The room is lit by a dozen or so lamps, giving off pleasing scents and soft amber glows. And in the middle of the room, its most prominent feature, is a large pool filled with steaming, perfumed water. You see Islin on the other side of the pool, and she begins to slowly disrobe, and as she does, the mist covers her body, and all you can hear is a splashing sound as she enters the water.
What is this?
This is a dream and a memory. One of my own this time. This place, this blushing mermaid, it's a very, well, expensive establishment in Waterdeep. It's run by mermaids and other creatures that can breathe underwater, and they provide excellent service. And as she says this, you see swimming up from the pool a mermaid with long blackish bluish hair and a black mask over her face comes up, and she has a large shell in her hand, and she holds it out and the shell opens, revealing a large assortment of tasty looking treats. You should join me.
Is this a thing of your creation or of your gracious patron?
Oh, this power? I don't have this power yet. My lord is extremely powerful, and I am fortunate to be a recipient of his grace, but you owe him nothing by partaking. This is just a conversation with aesthetic appeal.
Okay. And then in that case, I will sample from the clam, I guess, the clam shell.
It's like a serving platter that closed so that the food was not the food. Did you say sample from the clam?
No. I imagined the platter that the mermaid held up was like a shell.
Yes, it was a shell.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. That's
a sample from the clam.
Well, you know, we've all sampled from the clam once or twice. Anyway, so do you enter the water?
I can't. I will run my hand through it briefly to see what it feels like before.
Feels very comfortable. And certainly a far cry from anything you've ever experienced in Baldur's Gate, and let alone Avernus.
We're talking about the clam.
I am trying to which is the greater poison to the mind. So I will sit where I am and ask her, say, this is quite nice here. Why don't you come closer?
And as you say that, the room seems to shrink, and the diameter of the pool decreases. And you are still separated by water and mist, but you can see her form a bit more clearly. She seems to be recumbent on some sort of underwater bench that allows her to be both in and out of the water. My power grows, Typhon. I had no idea that magic was so intoxicating.
What do you intend to do with it then?
I have requirements. My master is fulfilling his end of the bargain, but that means that I must fulfill mine. I will be leaving Avernus soon. I have task to complete, and, well, doing so from here would be problematic. But it will earn me more power, and the means to return to the prime material.
After that, are you still beholden, or is this your way out?
It could be my way out, but, I mean, why would I give this up? Would you?
Careful of your shortcuts. Remember that first time you reached a bit too far. The ledge to the gutter. It seemed just a quick jump, but I was the one tending the broken ankle afterwards. You do not want to break your ankle in this place, Eastlin.
Well, that brings
There are no
me
night
to why I'm
surgeons here.
I could use your help, night surgeon. That much is true. But that's really not why I'm here. I'm here because of desire. I want you, Typhon. I want you to employ your cleverness and power on our behalf, yours and mine, to make us more formidable than we already are. I can promise you challenges and stimulation that makes this wandering quest to save a doomed city seem like a child's calculus by comparison.
So how do you presume?
Well, were you any other person, I would ply my feminine charm. Intimacy. That would be a most beguiling diversion, don't you think? But if my hot flesh pressed against yours were all it took to entice you, well, I doubt we would still be talking. But you're like me. In control of your emotions, in control of your primal desires. And as she says that, the pool, once again, diameter shrinks. And you are even closer.
In control.
And you can see very clearly her outline and even a little bit of the features of her face as she takes a bite out of some piece of fruit. In the end, we both know what really excites you. So I offer it to you. Access to the Citadel of Parchment. A repository of knowledge as complete as can be found upon the wheel of the cosmos. And unlike the great libraries of Faerun, there are no restrictions but one's own fortitude. What do you dare to learn, Typhon?
An offer on behalf of your master.
By proxy, perhaps. I have a task that I need to do, and I will be able to do it easier with your help.
And what do you need? What is this task?
I'm afraid that's going to require a little bit of faith. There are details which, well, if you were to know them, then there would be very little stopping you from pursuing it yourself. Suffice to say, we need to steal something. Sound familiar?
Tell me now, Eastlyn, what is... Remind me again of the end game here. What's the big win?
The big win. Wouldn't it be nice to forge a reality that is as sweet as this dream? Power, wealth, respect, the ability to savor and enjoy our existence while we pursue whatever we want. That is what the power of, well, that is the power I offer. Or at least the power that I hope will be ours to partake.
Can he hear you?
I don't know. I don't think that this conversation is particularly interesting to him. But it is to me.
Would you be beholden to him in this grand endgame that you've described?
I have a way out of his arrangement.
That, then, is my end game. I will not rest until no one else has you.
And the diameter of the pool shrinks again, and she's just a few feet away from you. Do you care to think about it, or shall we seal the deal?
No one else's?
Just
But
an
mine.
arrangement between very, very good friends. She holds out a hand to you, inviting you into the water. You get one more before I want an answer.
I'm trying to think if this would actually constitute any sort of binding agreement because there's no
Yes,
no
and
logic
then-
here.
Yes, and then
So I will look at her for a long moment and smile in one of the most genuinely well, I guess smiling moments Typhon could manage. And then do I feel the power though of the potential power of the ring of mind shielding at the moment?
Yes, it is always with
I
you.
then will cut off I will say yes, but not stepping into the pile or into the pool. I will then activate it and cut off communication.
All right. You sit awake. The dream has ended. So, while this dream is happening, Silas,
break time.
you hear groans of despair, sobs of anguish, and the incessant squawking of carrion crows. Before you is a battlefield, strewn with festering corpses. The air smells of filth and rotting meat. You take a step and stumble as your feet catch against the ribcage of a young soldier, sending rats scurrying. Your other foot sloshes into a deep puddle of cold blood as you find your balance. You're standing in a marsh formed from the exsanguination of hundreds and hundreds of bodies, and there is very little solid ground on which to stand. Around you, picking their way through the bloodied silt, are men and women and children, wailing in grief. The burnt umber sky undulates with clouds, and all you can smell is brimstone and rot. Head about 500 feet distant, you see a familiar hill, atop which stands a white marble statue. What do you do?
Is the statue of my goddess?
From here, it certainly looks like it would be. Wings unfurled, spear held aloft. Or rather, the bladed sword. Bladed sword staff.
Do I see any active combat strife, anything like that?
No active combat, but there is a woman sloshing through the muck nearby. You hear her weeping. She's scanning the ground.
I go to her. As I get closer, are there any details that I can tell about her?
She has a hood, so other than that, no. But it doesn't take long. As you get within 5 feet or so, she turns to look at you and says, "Hello, Silas." And it is Elila.
I pull out Iranian, my glaive, at the ready. What do you do here?
Well, I am talking to you. But perhaps this is... This place? That's a battlefield. Apparently. She looks down, and she reaches a foot out and lifts the chin of a dead soldier, and it definitely appears elven. Some important battle or other, I suppose. I'm sure they all fought and died valiantly to protect the people.
Fighting for a greater cause. At will. Something you would know nothing about.
Well, it has been a long time since I cared about such things. But seeing this boy reminds me, when I first appeared to you, I looked like this. You found me quite beguiling then. She changes forms, now appearing as the young and fragile elf maid with the horns and the feathered wings. And she looks at you sadly. Once thou thought me most compelling in this form, can I entreat thee once again to accept the boons my mistress offers? I seek to spare thee further pain. Turn aside, Silas.
When you approached me in that form, it was under the guise of lies, mistruths. You act as though I was swooning over you.
Not me, perhaps, but the idea of me. Someone you could Rescue? Seems to be in your nature. And now I get a chance to return the favor. Silas, just accept what she offers. Very little will change from your current situation, but it will be so much easier for you. So much less taxing.
Oh, yes, I've seen her gifts. As I look down at the entire left side of my body, scarred and burned.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't it pain you?
It reminds me. I take strength from it.
She looks towards the hill where the statue is. It's still true. She doesn't deserve you.
Who are you to decide that? And do
No
you
one
not
of
deserve freedom
consequence,
yourself?
apparently.
Do you not deserve freedom yourself? Walking around, bound to someone, at their will?
I'm content.
I've seen that happen with captives. They forget
you?
their situation.
I do enjoy these attempts. They are most unique.
Consider it a counteroffer to that which your master has given you.
Silas, you have nothing to offer me. All that you are, at least the things that matter, are already hers.
She does not control me.
No, she does not.
When I fall, she may claim my soul. Such is the deal that I have made. But until then, I am my own.
Godspeed, Silas. She squats down in the silt, sort of looking at you.
Is that the only message that you bring?
Not a message from her. I'm here of my own volition. I am entreating you, as I said, to take the easier path. There's a great deal about you to admire, Silas. And I hate to see a useful tool misused.
That is why I cannot join you. You think of others as tools.
You don't think your goddess thinks the same?
My goddess, I go to freely. And if it serves her will, this is good for us both.
Such blind devotion. Why does it matter who it is towards?
I suppose you wouldn't understand. Sometimes you don't pick the subject of your feelings.
She gestures towards the hill.
I will be running up that hill. Would you walk with me, Elila?
I will. She comes towards you and she holds out her arm.
Calm down. I know a snake when I see one.
Just seeing how far your gallant nature went. And she sort of steps up, her wings unfurl, and she lifts into the air and begins to float next to you as you walk up the hill.
How did you first come to be under the dominion of Glacia? How did you first come to owe her everything you are?
Silas. This little jaunt is not about me. It's about you. But do keep asking your questions. Very charming.
I keep making you an offer.
It must feel repetitive. Trust me, I know how you feel. I wonder if we could make an arrangement. Perhaps I allow you to save me if in exchange you succumb to my mistress's demands. Would that be possible?
That sounds like a fool's gambit.
It does. Nice to know that you're still in control of your mind.
Who else would be?
Who else indeed? As you continue up towards the hills, the familiar brambles are there, and step by step you make your way towards it, and you see the statue looming there before you, marble resplendent.
Is it indeed the statue of Andrea?
It appears to be.
Is it in any way covered or obscured?
It is not.
Do you know the story of Vandria Gilmonderith, Elila?
Of course. I was once, long ago, a member of the Seldarine myself.
More lies.
Believe what you want.
And how did you find your time amongst them?
I was a child, and now I am not. You have similar things to say about your childhood?
My childhood. Has no meaning here.
But as you say that, there's a grating laughter. I think you'll find that's not quite the case, Silas. Con? And you look towards the statue, which moves. Still is the form of your goddess, but it takes on a much more sultry and less rigid and formal form. And Delilah steps back, bows her head. Come to worship me at last, Silas. The moans and cries of grief around, they soften and they turn to soft coos of delight and gasps of pleasure.
Do I recognize this?
It's still the
transformation?
form of the marble statue of Avandria, but
Sexy.
sexy, yes, and with a bit more expression in the face. The other statue is blank-eyed and stoic. This one has a smirk and a little bit more personality in the eyes.
In dream form, can I still use my abilities?
You could try.
I try to use my Vandria-given abilities of divine sense to detect good and evil, celestial fiends, undeads.
You are surrounded by evil. Everything here is fiendish. And there is an incredibly intense beacon of fiendish energy directly in front of you.
Is that the statue that
It
is
is.
directly in front of me? Judging by my momentary companion's reaction, I can assume, Glacia, that you've come to do your own work.
Yes.
You must be so extremely bored to reach out to one simple paladin.
That's a very apt description of my existence, actually. But simple paladin, no. I have enjoyed devising ways to torment you, fallen one. It has
am
been
fallen no more.
centuries
I am
since I've
fallen
actually...
no more.
Well, it's been centuries since I've actually felt the sting of rejection so intensely.
What manner of beast are you?
Beast? What manner of beast are you? Compared to you, I am the moon. I am the sun. I am the stars. I am the whirling firmament. There's only one beast here, Silas, and it is you. I am perfection.
And so very modest as well.
That is not one
Perfection
of my
would have
traits.
people coming to you freely. Instead, you have to bargain, threaten, curse. If you are perfection, it is perfection of evil.
I'm content with that moniker.
Oh, that you could meet my goddess face to face.
You see the statue attempt to roll its eyes and fail, and then crumble as the true form of Glacia steps forward. That's more like it. You know, you're hardly the first to reject me. And those that refuse me always come to bitterly regret their short-sightedness in their end. That's an amusement in and of itself, and a fate that awaits you as well. But I must admit that I found myself more annoyed than usual at your churlishness. And she steps forward and begins to sort of step around you, looking at you appraisingly, much as someone would gaze at a cow or a steer that they had planned to purchase and slaughter. I figured out why, by the way. Care to
Why
guess?
my rejection stings you so?
Yes. Come now, you
Because
must
you know
have
you want.
an opinion on the subject.
I will forever be something you can never have.
No. No. I will have you. You are not immortal, and your soul is mine upon your death. Therefore, I will have you. At least the parts of you that matter.
You won't have my love.
You can keep it. Love has no place here. I find your rejection so cloyingly annoying. Because because of her. And she reaches down and picks up the face of Andrea, the stone visage. Because you rejected me for this frigid elven failure. A marble statue in both vision and reality. She tosses it away. What drives you towards her when you could have me as your patron?
Your desperation. It's
My
not very
desperation?
flattering.
You think too highly of yourself.
If it makes you feel any better, it's not about her. It's more of a rejection of you.
I'm sure
Outright
you believe
rejection.
that.
Will you
But-
tell me now what I believe? Shall I be your puppet like this one?
That would be amusing for a while. But no. As I meticulously inspected your soul, I came to realize that you have a desperate need for approval. Honestly, it's almost manic in its intensity. It is deep, deep within you, Silas. Buried beneath layers and layers of self-loathing and rigorous denial. But it forms the very center of your being. I can see it as plain as your scars. She snaps her fingers, and once again the burning sensation along your left side intensifies.
It must burn you so that I don't seek your approval.
You don't seek my approval. But you do seek someone's. You need look no further than your chosen paragon, actually. Aloof. Unimpressed. Passionless. Calculating and miserly with her affections. Remind you of anyone, Silas? And as she says that, you look as Lila steps to Glasia's side, and her features change, and she takes on the mien of your mother. Such striking similarities when you think about it. Nothing to say. But then
Take whatever
Go ahead.
shape you wish.
But how could this woman, Glasia says as she steps around her, act in any other way? Faced with all of your half-breed inadequacies, how could any elf maid find anything in her heart but scorn for such a child as you? Then she leans very close to you. Especially when you weren't even of her flesh and blood.
Your lies. That's repetitive. My
Yes,
mother.
Silas, a foster mother. Oh, how I long to reveal more, but there are preparations that must be made first. I intend to have the story of your punishment worthy of legend. Perhaps I will even commission an epic poem. But to bestow such an excruciating honor upon you, well, we must await for all of the parts to be arranged just so. We must wait. We must delay and savor. But soon, Silas. Pleasant dreams, wretch. And with this final blazing intensity of pain that fills your vision with red, you awaken back in the tent in Fort Knucklebone. And that, my friends, will be where we take our 10-minute break. If you're just joining us, the party, after their delve into the mind of Zelmira, thanks to Mad Maggie's mind magic, the party found themselves in somewhat more of a mentally receptive state. And as such, two of their members have just had intense visions in which they were sorely tempted and tormented. Additionally, one of their members has taken French leave, and they all awaken to discover Persephone is not among them. And just as you awaken from your dream, Silas, your alarm goes off. Yes, long rest, everyone.
My alarm.
Yes, your alarm bell.
My alarm goes off?
All right. I immediately see through my familiar's eyes and see what I can see.
You see the familiar form of a spined devil, but one that's got a little bit more grace and gentility about him. And he is placing something on the demon stone.
Okay, can I make a mental note of where and then summon the party to...
Yes,
Sorry, I like... Z made it. Typhon immediately hits the snooze button on his alarm, which makes me... That's a hilarious modification to the alarm spell.
Later.
It's a cantrip.
Oh, guys,
Alexa, stop.
there's something bad happening over there, but we'll deal with it in 10 minutes.
And that's goddamn radio.
That's future Typhon's problem.
I know. So I will gather everyone and say, all right, everyone, let's...
Whoa, no.
Tiny Hut's done.
Yeah, tiny.
Tiny Hut's done. Boom. I'll walk out of it and go. And, yeah.
And you see the form
start
of
heading in that
Amonazro.
direction.
Amonazro turns and flits down towards you all and says, good to see you all rested and well. But you seem to be missing one of your number. I've just placed a note from her on your machine.
Grim will immediately go and grab it.
It is very simple. It says, do not follow me. And it is pierced with the dagger needle.
No one ever could follow her.
Grim hands the dagger to you, Jax.
Oh. Oh, I'll give it back to her when she's back. If she cheers up for a bit.
I'm going to see if I can find any tracks or other visible signs.
You're gonna follow her.
Make a perception check or survival check, actually. Yes.
Survival check.
Find her. She gets
That
sacked
would
from her
be
job and she's
a
forced to play
13.
D&D.
There are
certain that I can find her.
numerous tracks everywhere around here. The 13, unfortunately, you're not able to find any that remind you of Persephone.
Who spoke to
What?
her last?
Rim raises a claw.
Rim?
I had to let her go. She didn't want to be with us anymore.
You had to let her go away alone in Avernus.
I saw the resolve in her eyes, Silas. The alternative was fighting her. I don't believe physical restraint would have caused a positive outcome. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on her, Silas.
I've noticed the slip as well. She's so much less the Persephone that we arrived here with. I imagine that our continued course may only encourage and exacerbate the pain she's feeling. She might have to go lest she sabotage us, willing or unwillingly. I do hope she comes back in time, but perhaps it's best to let her struggle and suffer alone for some time.
Well, I trust our deal is still in effect.
It is.
Excellent. We will speak more of that in a moment. I must seek out Mad Maggie and ensure that my presence here is permitted. Please excuse me. And he flies away, looking around. And you all have a moment to yourselves, should you wish.
Rim sits on
Did
the edge of
everyone
the-
else sleep well?
Amazing. This
didn't
new
have any dreams at all,
blindfold
no.
I've got keeps out the sun.
You used it to sleep in?
Yeah.
It's,
the night mask.
does it have open eyes on the other side?
No, it does not. It is a simple rag.
With geranium petals around the eyes.
But can it have open eyes on the other side?
Anything is possible.
In hell.
It's not magical though. I can't see anything with it on.
And I put it on again. It's literally, I just literally slipped off his head like that.
Yeah.
I walk over to Typhon and say, "That's a strange comment you made. Did she visit you too, Typhon?"
She being
The last person I'd want to see.
Crypticer and Crypticer. Crypticer?
We'll keep it.
I was visited by someone who I do believe fits that description for you.
She offer you something. Tempt you.
Ah. Perhaps, yes. And you? Were you drawn to her requests? Did you accept her request?
No. It's not for me. I already made my choice regarding that one. Did you?
I think we're talking about someone different. What choice have you made regarding... What choice have you made? Silas.
I made the choice to stay myself. What about you?
Still seeking what I've been seeking this entire time.
Very good.
Right then.
No, I got past my guard. I was watching at all times.
Your brain is a sieve, Jax.
What's a sieve?
Right, let's go.
I think assive. Your brain is assive. It's short from massive.
Massive?
Oh,
It says
I've got a big brain for a
Brains
goblin.
on check.
I'm a big brain goblin, I know that.
Only because it's
Brain
swollen from
goblin.
infection.
I'm infected?
As you are... Oh, go ahead, Jax. Please, continue.
I'm infected?
So it's swollen with infection.
Surprise. So as you are having this bickering, you see Mad Maggie sort of lumbering over to you all, her lumpen form taking misshapen steps. And
So different than the dreams.
flying beside her is...
Sorry.
Good! Flying beside her is Amanazro, and they seem to be in a heated discussion. She finally waves him away, and he follows at a slight distance behind her. And she comes up. She goes,
Well, my friends. Sleep well?
Amazing.
Good, good. No thievery?
and as she looks around, her eyes kind of take on a even more evil mien as she looks carefully at all of the minions around her, which all sort of duck behind things as she sort of scans, looks
They
back
would
at you
be
all.
very rude.
We do seem to have lost something, Mad Maggie.
Well, as long as it wasn't stolen. Now, was it important?
Yes.
Well, I hope you find it. At any
It's-
rate.
Is Persephone? Why don't you help us find her?
Oh, Persephone. Oh, she left, did she? That wasn't very smart of her.
She is still one of our members.
I could potentially help you find her, but nothing's free.
And she looks back at Amanazro.
The old crow here claims you have more pressing needs.
I believe that is so. We need. Okay, and DM check here. Was our next objective finding a way to negotiate with Archon
Well,
Or
in order to
overtake him.
get the
you
blood
need to
of
get blood. You need to the former Titan Uldrak needs to spill some of Tiamat's blood on the surface of Avernus, and you think you've been led to believe that there is potentially a way to obtain that from one known as Archon the Cruel.
It could be another Titan though, right? So we could go to another plane of existence and continue this quest.
This is true. You need the blood of the Titans.
It's
Very
not
true.
specifically Tiamat, but Tiamat's probably the much
No, you
by
need
far
the blood of the
easiest
Titan.
choice.
You need the blood of the Titan to undo the curse on Razala.
I
Razazala.
need
Razazala. Razazala.
the eye of the tiger and
Yes.
the blood of the tiger.
And an old priest and a young priest. But yes, it's all a series of needs and dominoes that you have been constructing over these past few days. Seems like longer. That once you finally get the last piece, you'll be able to pay off this one, and then this one, and then this one, and all the pieces will fall into place. However, at the moment, yes, Amanazro, he made a deal with you all to wipe the slate clean of favors in order to start again with a new deal. You will attempt to defeat and destroy Archon the Cruel so long as you give him all of the credit. In exchange, he will aid you in this.
So where is he?
So this indeed was just a pit stop.
This was a pit stop. And
To get some armor.
Yeah, we're
So
we
let's
need-
let's talk about that. We have a member of our party who has gone her own way for some time. And we also have this dwarf here. Both of them are in need of armoring.
I found some for Falcon. She's got a breastplate now.
Was that for Falcon or was that for... I thought we gave that to Silas.
That's for...
Was it Silas? I can't remember who had
I
who.
did give it to Silas.
Oh, Silas, okay.
Yeah.
This dwarf.
It's a bit stubby.
She looks and stretches her neck, scratches her chin. There's sort of a sound like glass scraping against granite.
Is that a symbol of the Broken One?
I imagine you two would get along swimmingly.
I have something. But I'm afraid that, as fond of you all as I am, I cannot part with it for free. 'Twas the weapon of my greatest enemy.
Who is it?
No one of consequence anymore.
Did you lose him?
No. This terrible weapon, I could give it to you, dwarf. I do believe it bears with it some form of protection, and it would be of particular use to one such as yourself, but it is not armor. For that, she gestures with a long, bony and clawed finger towards the pile of scrap metal that's nearby Chuka and Clonk, which is where you found the breastplate. I suggest looking there.
What?
Is that... Does that seem to
Beside
suggest that it's the thing that we already found?
Probably.
or there may be something else that we didn't.
There
find.
was there was quite a few investigation checks, and this was.
I rolled low, so I can go and have another look. Yeah.
So can I.
Did
No.
we roll again?
No. You have found what there was to be found.
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Keep trying, Silas. Keep trying.
So
then
this
to the
be of
matter of-
interest to you, dwarf?
He hunches forward. I'm going to assume that Falcon says yes.
So, what will you trade for it? Keep in mind that is one of my most prized possessions. It would not be open for barter were you not such good friends of mine.
Can we see it?
No.
It's a secret.
She turns away from you, Jax.
What will it be? What do you have? What will you give me in exchange for the staff of the Broken One?
What did you just say? The staff of the Broken One?
I don't think they know that Ryan's changed into a different cleric.
No, the broken god.
Mm-hmm. Ilmater was the broken god, the
Ilmater.
broken.
The racked one. He who endures suffering. It is the staff of Fulgrin's deity. The god of healing and
Now the
mercy.
staff of the Broken One. The staff of my greatest enemy. It's been in my possession for many long years. Many fond memories. It is quite valuable. And it will help protect your friend. If you give me something for it.
What do we have? What do we have? We have a bunch of stuff.
Should be in the loot pile.
Ooh, the loot pile.
Be a loot pile?
There is still a loot pile, right?
Is there
Where
a
is
loot
this?
in the loot pile?
Our
Did I-
handouts are a little bit spread between multiple places, but I don't know if I can see the loot pile.
I don't see it.
I wonder if
We've got a bag of
I've
beans.
made a loot pile for all my other games, but not this one. That sounds like something I
We've
would
got
do.
all sorts of stuff.
I
we've
see
got-
a section of unique and magic items that we
Yeah,
got
try
in
that.
our-
We also
that'll
have an infernal tack.
Infernal attack. Yep.
We have
Oh?
some. That's some good stuff. I really wish we could use it. I
got
mean,
this-
does she have a nightmare we could domesticate?
She sure
'Cause that-
doesn't.
We've got
She's
something
fresh
called
out.
Artem. Can we trade Artem?
Okay.
Hey!
There's
Soul
a
of Artem?
certain
Yeah.
there's a certain whip in your possession, I believe.
Ah, the lash of lacrimose. She would love that. Let's do it. Give it. It doesn't have. It's
We can't do
literally
anything with
useless. It's literally useless to us. It sounds like something she'd love.
I would have it be out of my sight, given my history with it.
Would you anybody care to read what the lash of lacrimose is?
Sure.
Or our viewing pool?
Yeah, I've got it pulled up, but
Go for
Do
it.
it with an
Go for it, Peter.
Australian accent first, though.
so it is it's a weapon.
That was amazing. He's a weapon.
Is that what Australians
Yeah.
sound like?
Apparently.
Requires attunement. Requires alignment by a creature of evil alignment. I'm done. You can speak, read, or write Infernal or Draconic. Australian's hard. You gain a +1
It is hard.
bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. So that's the basics. But here's where it gets interesting. This hideous whip looks like a normal cat o' nine tails made of black leather until its power of you is used, whereupon each of the 9 lashes in turn take on a sickly green ethereal color. Once per day, the wielder can use it to whip up to 9 humanoids into unconsciousness. As long as the victims remain alive and unhealed, the wielder regenerates up to 9 hit points, 1 for each victim. At the end of
I think
each
we
of
actually
their
have
turns.
a picture of that. We can pull a picture up, yeah?
For each victim that dies or is healed for at least 1 hit point, the whip's regeneration powers decrease by 1. Gotcha. As a reaction, the wielder can choose to do 1d6 psychic damage to any of the victims under its power twice per day. This power can be used as long as both the wielder and the victim are on the same plane of existence. Proficiency with a whip allows you to add your proficiency bonus to the attack roll for any attack you make with it. Notes. Language, infernal. Language, draconic. Bonus, magic, ignore weapon. Anyway, that's
So yes, you've had this for a long time. This was possessed by Thalamra
Van Thampur.
Vanthampur. And she used
The
it
person that
to-
killed my mentor, yes.
Yes. But you've held on to it since then, and as you pull it out, Maggie's eyes widen. She says,
It is a perfect item if you wish to always have restrained, barely conscious victims of heinous crimes around you at all times. We not being those people, it's
Like
not particularly
like a bunch of red caps.
useful. It seems very much like something that is going to be used to torture and drain the life essence out of captive victims, which is problematic to people who aren't Typhon, so Typhon will hand it over.
Excellent, excellent. Yes. Very well. I will return momentarily.
She takes the lash of Lachrymos and strokes it as she would a doll as she lumbers back towards her cave. What do the rest of you do?
Rim is kind of sitting silently alone on the bloodstone.
I am sorry about your friend. I hope that she finds a safe place to live out what remaining time there is for her.
You are still connected to her, are you not?
Yes, well, it will make contacting you all a bit more difficult unless one of you wishes to sing as prettily as she did. No? Pity. Although I think I will be staying close to you all from, at least for the foreseeable future. Now, there is much to discuss. I take it that none of you have gleaned my true form and name.
No.
Are you Wheaton?
Are you Will Wheaton?
Yes.
I slipped the thing on.
We are very much aware that you are not being entirely forthcoming with us and have been for some time.
Well, that is a point in your favor. I would expect nothing less. But I think now is the time for some truth. Valuable truth. But we are working together, are we not?
Best friends.
Anyone other than the goblin care to answer that question?
We are.
It seems our goals are aligned for the moment.
True enough. So, I am Amenazro, the Shadow, holder of trusts and secrets, a broker of arrangements and understandings, a parasite existing on the whim of others, so long as I can provide what they seek. A trader in favors. And as he says this, he turns away from you all and looks across the horizon of Avernus somewhat contemplatively. But once I was known by a different name. Abducius. Ambassador of herself, most magnificent plenipotentiary to the Dragon Queen, most superbly honored emissary of Tiamat. How the mighty have fallen. turns back. There was a time when I flattered myself into believing that knowledge of that would be of danger to me. But many long years have passed. Now I'm forgotten and insignificant. That is who I am.
So you seek revenge on your former employer?
No. No. She is beyond that sort of thing. And I would be foolish to think that one such as I deserve any more regard that she has given me. I failed her. I am grateful to be alive. But the rule of Avernus has been the responsibility of several individuals over the past few centuries. Before Zariel, it was Bel the Pretender, although he does not prefer that title. Before him, it was my queen. But she has grown far more powerful than the archfiend she once was. Hers is a glory reserved only for the gods themselves, but she remains in hell instead of the divine planes where she belongs. She is trapped here by bargains made on the advice of short-sighted advisors and power-mad sycophants. Chief among them, Archon, so-called cruel. That is whom I want vengeance upon. Rim. This creature who thinks he and he alone can lead forces of my queen and elevate her out of this place, back to where she belongs.
Will the destruction of Archon complete that task?
No. But if credit for his demise is given to me, then I will perhaps find my way back into my queen's favor, and I can serve her faithfully once again.
Tell us what you know of him.
He's powerful. Made more so by this thing he has. Some ring or bracelet of great power that he holds on his left hand, but it bears a price. It corrupts him. He is slowly rotting, but not fast enough. And while he is alive, it gives him great power. But more than that, he has numerous powerful allies and a bastion of great strength. You will need to separate him from this power and prevent him from consolidating it if you wish to attack him. I suggest allying yourself with a powerful ally. You have had dealings with several. I respect the privacy of my friends, and I will not reveal any secrets that any of you may think you have. However, I urge you all to be forthright as you plan this coup. To the formidable list of allies you have, or could have, given the proper leverage, I can add one more. one that probably hasn't crossed your wildest notion. Zariel herself. I can arrange a meeting between you and her commanders, perhaps even with the Dread General herself. For that matter, I could potentially speak on your behalf to a number of powerful entities that have taken notice of you and wish to be done with Archon the Cruel. But they will have no interest in working with each other. You must choose.
What of... What of the one whom the Dread General herself unseated?
The Pretender. He is one of your potential allies.
Is he not likely to assert greater effort? Her success means a continuation of the status quo. His means potential disruption in the forces that maintain the order here on this plane.
An order, you put your finger on it exactly. Open rebellion is to be discouraged. Indeed, before this conversation goes much further, I will need to remove myself. I am beholden to certain laws myself. But
Tell me, fiend. Are there no allies more tasteful, of a nature not of this place?
they would be of little use to you here, I think. But you are welcome to call upon them if you can. I will not be able to aid you, however.
I ask for knowledge, not assistance.
In this regard, your knowledge is as good as mine.
What do you know of Glacia?
I know much.
In the
And,
context in which we speak.
She would be a formidable ally. And it is indeed one of the ones that I was recommending you consider.
You trade in secrets. Yes.
Yes. Secrets, mostly favors, although those can be secrets in and of themselves. Many of those favors have benefited you and your companions.
Can
You have
undo
muted your
Glacia?
face.
Would you know? Check.
You good?
Would you know any secrets that could undo Glacia?
If I did, I would certainly not reveal them to you. I would not reveal the secrets of any of the great powers of the Hells. But we are on the first layer. Glacia exists on the 6th. She is quite a bit more powerful and feared and respected than any of the allies that you have at your potential disposal. The most powerful, and she will require the most convincing. But it is not impossible. I leave you to discuss. You have those that you have encountered. None of them, as I said, will work with one another. Some of them you will have more leverage over than others. Some will require payment. Some will require servitude. But you must choose. There is no hope for you in this unless you have help. He floats away. Respectful distance. So, the choices before you, friends, are Glazia of Malbolge, Bell, the Pretender, Zariel, the Dread General, Mahadi, and I believe that is all, unless you could potentially rally all of the warlords under your banner.
That don't threaten me with a good time. That sounds.
Let go.
What, you mean there's some left?
The
We've
time
killed
it
them,
would
haven't
take to do that, Peter.
Oh,
we might as well just bring marshmallows to El Terrell. The time it'll take to get that set up.
That sounds pretty good. I mean,
yeah.
easy,
Their
easy
souls
roast.
are forfeit, so I mean, we can rescue them after the fact.
I don't think that's how that works. That's not how any of this
Marshmallows
works.
along the way.
So, discuss, friends. I need to know the answer to this. This is going to greatly affect how the rest of this adventure goes.
This is a heavy choice.
It is. I was really hoping that Ryan and
Well,
Jess
that's
would be
the
here for
thing
it,
is
but-
that, like, I kind of want to have a moment to let them in on the conversation rather than making a massive discussion like this without
They
them.
how do we
might be
type this up?
available if you want to
Doing a deal with demons, which one should we pick?
Dabbles.
So, okay, logistically, strategically speaking, I think if we were going to do something the thing that makes the most sense would be working with Bell, because he seems to also have the greatest bit of interest in our ultimate task, which would be either potentially unseating or removing Zariel from power and ultimately freeing El Terrell. So that sounds like an alliance that makes logistical sense for us longer term.
I have heard that
Yeah.
he's the most peculiar girl, though.
Huh?
What?
Belle, she's the most peculiar girl, that Belle.
Oh. Can we
Guys,
be allied with
guys,
a Disney princess?
please-
Hey, Peter's.
Let's please
Peter,
get beyond
Ryan's
this.
not here.
this
You're hurting me.
Guys,
You're
this is
hurting me.
this is provincial. Come on, let's get beyond this.
I am a paladin of a good deity.
There
I
must
am
be more
trapped
than this,
in
guys.
hell.
These provincial jokes.
Most
Anyway,
What big
all right.
arms
Well,
you have?
be my guest to throw out a better idea, but I think Bell is gonna be is the way to go.
I mean, between like Glazia and someone ugly, do we pick Beauty or the Beast? You know?
Please,
What have I done?
You have, don't forget your
What have I
boons,
done?
Zelmira.
Yeah, I do have boons.
what the fuck?
We'll just leave it at that.
What is that?
What's the problem, Peter?
What does that mean?
I don't know. That was just.
What do you mean, Peter?
You know, that's a great question. What does it mean?
Oh no.
All right, Zelmira, as part of your arrangement with Glazia, brokered by Elila to
Yes.
get out of the thumb, from under the thumb of
La la la
Mahadi,
la la. don't do that.
Mahadi.
you sold your soul
Yes.
for a number of boons, which you can
Yes.
call upon Glazia to grant you.
Yes. And I've already spent two
You
of the
spent some-
boons.
yes.
And I only have a certain number left, and that number is 1.
Might want to save that.
Okay, cool. Sean, I did remember. I just thought you'd
Good,
explain
okay.
it. I thought you'd explain it better than I did.
She wanted to make sure you remembered, Sean.
I appreciate
that.
that.
Was earlier. That truly I didn't
got it.
remember.
I got it, Liz. I am
I was like,
on
it's gonna be
the page.
more concise.
I could
Tom
run
does
this
that.
game.
You do, in fact.
Jade, what do you think? Jax have an opinion
I'm just glad I'm playing the stupid goblin.
here? There you go.
Well, for what it's...
No interest in going with Zariel at all.
I mean, the thing is, we're obviously trying to fight Zariel. So, well, we're not fighting her directly. We're trying to save Elturel, which is obviously fighting her. So, brokering a deal with her, and potentially, she wouldn't release Elturel, which is like thousands and thousands of souls for...
No, she wouldn't.
So, she knows that we're here to try to save Elturel. So, why would she work with us?
She may or may not know.
Yeah.
I still think it serves our ultimate purpose to find somebody who would be interested in her being unseated in some way.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because Belle has the ultimate interest in watching her fail, right?
Who is this Belle?
Belle was original. Do I know this?
Roll a religion check.
I thought
You
we
just told
knew.
us.
You may
The
have
ver-
already. You may have already.
I think the very basics of it we know, which Belle
Yes.
was originally the ruler of Avernus until the whole Hellrider situation.
make
in
an
which
intelligence
point-
check.
Okay. I mean,
What about Despater or Asmodeus?
I have a 15 on a
15.
just straight up intelligence check with no
So-
modifiers.
Oh.
Someone has
then,
D6. Who's that?
You recall that
It's a
in
24 if it's a religion. So
Him.
You recall. So the intelligence check is for recalling. In the ossuary underneath the cathedral in Elturel, not the cathedral, underneath the cemetery in Elturel, you encountered a number of frescoes
yeah.
depicting the Hellriders' charge into Elturel, into Avernus, and one of them depicted Zariel and Belle fighting each other. At which point, apparently she was wounded, badly wounded by that fight, and it is, but she was victorious. So a little more context and details.
Wasn't the context that I remember that she was given extra help by a dark power to succeed, and so she accepted a dark deal in order to succeed against
There
Belle
was a
in
dark
order
deal.
to-
There was a dark deal, but you don't know for sure if that was what it was
Okay.
regarding. It may have been that. It may have been something else.
Okay. I thought I remembered the details in your dream sequence being, I remember you talking about Asmodeus himself, and then her
Asmodeus did
reaching
arrive
to-
at the very end, but it
Yeah.
was after the fight with Belle. Regardless of whether or not he aided her in that fight, or whether there was some other dark deal or something like that, you are not 100% sure.
Okay. I as a player remember that. I thought there was a little more detail, but okay, that's fine.
And do you know the details of Eastland's servitude?
Not exactly, and that's one of the reasons that Typhon is skeptical about this, but also wanting to get closer to Belle whenever possible, in order to facilitate a release from servitude from Belle.
All right.
So I'm hard in on the Belle train.
It sounds like there's consensus.
But does Typhon explain why he's on the Bell train?
With all of this, let us return to
can
the
do that.
realm of
Yeah, but-
role playing, as Silas will need convincing.
I will say, Silas, do you have any wish to be in league with that creature who has tormented you thus far?
I already am. I have no desire to be further in league with her.
I see.
But I have no
Well,
desire to be in league with any demon, devil, or fiend of any kind.
do you know... Do you know what it means when the farmers north of Baldur's Gate in Waterdeep set fire to their perfectly manicured fields? When a wildfire comes, when they see it raging on the hills, why they set a spark to their own crops and let it go to waste?
Sure, there's a variety of reasons. Perhaps
Indeed.
there's been an infection. Perhaps there's snakes in the field that need to be stamped out.
I don't like steaks.
Many of those things are true, but the greater truth is that the power of what has grown stronger than the entropy of the world that it exists in. And so it needs to be cleansed, it needs to burn, it needs to become ash again so that things can grow once more. I feel that the power of the Hell Rider Zariel and her crew, her contingent that marched upon this land, we saw even one of them, Haruman. We witnessed his power, the way it grew. Righteousness corrupted has granted an unnatural strength and orderliness to this level of hell, which needs to be burned. It needs to be reset before any divine power has any sort of chance to resist it. And so why not set a fire within to burn it down, to reset and allow the natural order to reset itself? Bel is the tinder that can create a fire within to burn down the fields orderly and in a road that would, well, only continue to spread. Bel can reset the balance, and well, I won't say the next part that I'm thinking, Silas, just in case. But Bel was there once. Now it is Zariel. And if Bel is there again, well, follow my train of thought.
A train of thought. You are so learned, Typhon. One critical error you just made was, I believe the saying is, gilding the lily. Suggesting that hell be raised. This I can get behind. Suggesting that it opens the doorway for a celestial takeover. No one wants that.
That is an ignorant assumption.
You said that.
No, I
Just
did
now.
not. I meant that we leave it in a much weaker place than it is with Zariel in her current form. It is currently bolstered with the strength of Celestia and Avernus by the strength of that soul alone. Not to mention the others she dragged down with her, the company of Hell Riders. Each of them corrupted, and one by one, the stout souls of Elturel slowly joining her ranks.
I do not wish to ally with Zariel. There are far too many similarities in this story to that of the Dark Mother. But I have no wish to align myself with any foul, evil creature.
You do not have to. You are making this place weaker than it is now. Is that not a direct path?
Silas, look at me. We both serve the same force. But from a practicality perspective, we have to make choices. If we choose to strive for goodness sake, excluding all other possibilities, we walk our own path to ruin despite ourselves. I don't like this any more than you do, but I don't wish to march into an inevitable battle without the strength necessary, even if I don't like where that strength comes from. I know where your heart is, Silas. I feel it. But this is a difficult decision that I feel we have no choice but to make. I think this is the best of a series of challenging options.
What is it that we will gain? What
Hopeful.
is it? What do we hope? To be granted some power? The power that we have brought with us has gotten us this far. We have defeated lieutenants of hell.
But I think it's foolish to think that we alone are enough to tip the scales. I don't have that kind of confidence in our limited abilities, Silas. And I don't think your goddess would expect that kind of brazen foolishness from you either.
Well, now I'm a fool, Rim.
No,
A fool that brought you back without
You are.
assistance from devils.
Silas, you are an idealist. And I admire that so much.
Are you sure you shouldn't have left with Persephone, Rim? You're sounding much like she did.
My heart is still where yours is. But I feel we must temper our ideals with practicality.
You fear. Your fear is what drives you now. I am blessed by a goddess that may not get me through this. I have already lost. A demon lord, Glacia, owns my soul. And you're talking to me about making sacrifices. And I'm an idealist. I wasn't tricked out of my soul, Rim. It wasn't a gamble that I lost. I understand Typhon. Getting to the most direct path. I am about that. I don't understand what we will truly gain by an alliance. Will we be outfitted? Will you suddenly have a magic shield? Will I suddenly have a magic bow that shoots lightning? Will Typhon suddenly have a cloak that turns him invisible? Will we suddenly have some great demon steeds that we'll ride upon?
Hey, but what will I get?
A brain.
I've got one.
You, the musical. If I only had a brain.
Silas,
Grumpy face.
do you... I do not think that Amanazar is a perfectly trustworthy figure by any means, but I believe him when he says that the deposition of this Archon is something he truly desires. It is a time when the shadows have been stripped away and a base desire seems to have been laid bare. Do you believe that?
Which aspect of that am I to believe? That hell is in chaos?
I asked you one question, not the premise before and after. This is the
What
one
is your
question.
Typhon?
Do you believe that Amonasro wishes Archon to be stripped of his powers, to be deposed, to be defeated by us?
My initial reaction would be to say, I don't know why he would lie, Typhon, and yet I'm speaking about a fiend. I may never understand why they would lie, and yet they will.
Well, that is the nature of this place, I suppose. But the nature of their lies, or their truths, or the commingling therein, I do, through all of our experience with him, I have felt the intention building towards this, and for him to agree to wipe the slate clean of so many favors, these creatures wait centuries to curry souls and favors to their will, yet this one has agreed to nothing. To do nothing in order for this one task to be finished, when he has the most righteous soul of Falkren, the bold, unconquerable Rim, and you yourself at his potential mercy, and yet he hungers for none of them and simply wants this single thing to be done. He wants this beyond anything else. That I believe.
What do you want, Typhon?
I want to be out of here,
Why?
and to get those I care about out of here. What happens? We've been through this. I don't believe I leave this place if I perish here. Silas. I am too knowledgeable of my own defects to believe otherwise. And I fear it. Do you believe that?
Fear seems to be a great motivating factor in this place.
Oh, the one who requests a plain path answers so obscurely in a time where frank decision is absolutely necessary. Silas, we must forge a way forward. And I do not believe alone stands any chance of success. We will burn with any decision, so we must choose the fire which we walk through.
And which is the best fire? Fires of Bel.
I believe that to be the case, yes.
Do you have a
Rim.
better suggestion, Silas? What would
What
you
draws
choose?
you to Bel, Rim?
I feel his goal aligns with ours. If our ultimate purpose to save Elturel would result in the removal of Zariel, we choose an alliance with somebody who would also see that to be done. That doesn't mean we have to become his or do his bidding, but we work together in tandem.
What else do we have to give?
Beyond this, Silas, you see those chains in the sky.
The chains that I have been driving us towards again and again while we run to and fro. Those chains.
It is the way we serve those very chains, Silas. Rhea, Mantlemorn,
Dead.
the devout servant, dead. Do you call those chains dead, Silas? If so, what does dead mean? They hold the souls still alive in Elturel from the river Styx, from becoming one of many of Zariel's army. The only thing, them and us, working for a solution, while she, the faithful, provides time. Do you know what happens if Zariel is unseated? Thavius Krieg, the perverse overseer of that city, pledged his service and all of those swearing to the Creed Resolute to Zariel herself. That we read, that we have heard professed and repeated throughout this land. Her greatest ruse so far, so I believe. If she is no longer in the picture, if it returns to what it was, all of it is invalidated. The souls are sworn to Zariel, not to
Avernus itself.
Not to a
Not to
demon or
Avernus.
devil that would drag a city down to hell with no claim on souls just to make them smile.
Indeed, my point being they are not sworn to another, they are released. The chains are broken. They are not transferred. The deals with devils. If the devil is vanquished, then the deal is undone, reversed, annihilated.
So, Typhon, we go to Bel and we entreat him. What does he gain? This is a land I have learned is
Rulership
all about
of this.
trades.
Rulership of Avernus. What he was deposed of, what he craves, what he is jealous of.
But somehow we're not enough to do it alone, but we're enough to do it.
Many of these creatures cannot act of their own accord. They are limited in what they can do here. We give them access to things they can't do on their own, Silas.
And not only that, we revive a dying soul by giving all that we have. Even if that means putting a weaker power into play. But not making it worse for others.
Why don't we just take over hell?
I don't like it here, Silas.
You don't really. But you want to make the world a better place. For those you love.
I believe that this path provides the best outcome for those who I care about most.
I find you very
And I think,
intelligent.
honestly, Silas, it does the same for those for whom you care most about.
I find you so intelligent, Typhon. Your counsel is very welcome. Would you allow me to ask you a very deep, deep question or two? Would you allow me to make sure that you answer?
If it's come to this, then yes, Silas. Let's be open to one another.
Because you say so many words, Typhon. And yet you always find a way to be strangely vague.
Bag, even.
Thank you. Then join me here I begin casting a spell.
I know what spell you're going to cast.
Yes, an ancient wizard, a
Yes.
wizened, wrinkled, fuck off of a gnome. Once,
Fakov.
Fukov. It's Fukov. Yes.
All right. So after a few moments, zone
And I
of
ask Typhon to give in to the power of the holy.
All right. He will do it.
I
I will.
right.
I will voluntarily fail.
Incapable of speaking a falsehood for anyone who is within 30 feet. So those of you who do not wish to participate in said truth zone, please vacate. Otherwise, I will need you to roll saving throws if you wish to resist.
And I will put the description real quick up into roll 20, and I'll read it out. So, until the spell ends, a creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there must make a charisma saving throw. That would be DC 15. On a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. I will know if you fail or succeed. While you are there, you can simply not answer.
You're
I've
not
asked Typhon that he
compelled
would
to answer. Anything you do say has to be
Right.
the truth.
If you answer, if you speak, it must be true. But I'm being open with this to everyone else, but I'm targeting Typhon, and he has voluntarily failed his saving throw.
Jax doesn't know what's
How
going
about
on,
you,
so he fails.
Silas?
Sorry, what was that, Jade?
Well, Jax doesn't know what's going on, so he naturally fails.
Okay. Silas, do you wish to resist?
No, of course not.
Okay, all right. Just checking. Liz, are you going to be a part of this, or?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Bring it out, folks.
What's
Answer the
the
questions.
ancient phrase that went along with this, DM?
Truth or dare.
Klaatu,
Some
Barata,
half couplet.
Nikto.
The other question is Amonazro part of this? Is he close
He's
enough?
over there somewhere. He's
How far?
probably smells it.
Okay.
You want, huh?
Can I have
15-foot radius. So it's
May I
pretty
have a
big,
brief? May I have 60 seconds before we resume this conversation?
You
as
may
it's
have
important?
36
Okay,
60
thank
seconds,
you.
Charisma save, Liz.
How to lie.
The scattered bones, the gutted beast, the open room, the glistening night is.
You have to say it the right way, mister.
No, I said it perfectly.
You
Right.
rolled an 18 anyway.
No, you have to say it. You have to say the words. Say the words.
she say it?
Keep the same roll, Liz. You rolled a 21 in total.
Oh, so you wanted to save? So you're resisting, Zelmira. You're
I don't think she knew
Your
what she
face
was-
is muted.
Your face is muted again.
Well, I'll unmute my face. Yeah, I would be upfront either way.
All right. So if you wish to resist, then you would have to roll the wisdom save. If you wish to voluntarily participate, then you don't need to roll a wisdom save.
Oh yeah, then forget it. Let's go.
There it is.
Question that I asked Typhon. Oh, well.
All right.
Hey, did everybody enter our giveaway? We're giving away cool stuff. If you do exclamation indicator
As
giveaway.
there is another option that perhaps nobody has considered. I'll wait to see if anybody figures it out. Otherwise, it will be revealed to you later.
Damn, it's just a puzzle. Get on it.
I don't think it's that. That's not my kind
Not
of
that
puzzle.
kind of puzzle. Gopher. I'm back. No, that
So
wasn't
now, is Typhon still alive?
Died.
Oh,
Yes,
there
Typhon.
he is.
He hasn't not lied yet.
So what's going on? Yeah.
There were some special words that had to be spoken. What were the
Yes.
special
Okay.
words, Steve?
Special
Fucking
words. All right, you want to hear the special words?
Yeah, I want to hear the
Oh, come
special
on.
words.
Special words.
This is for those of you watching.
They don't need to know. Just
You don't,
say the
don't need
words.
to know. All right. So the words.
Nobody needs to
The scattered
know.
bones, the gutted beast, the open room, the glistening night. Auspicious deck, the resting hand, the counted days, the coin upright.
Those are the
With
words.
that, Zone of Truth is cast. And Typhon has voluntarily failed his saving throw. Anyone else within 15 feet of me would need to either make a saving throw or volunteer to fail.
I failed.
And
How
will
long does
know.
it last?
So,
10 minutes.
10 minutes. A long, long time. But you don't have to answer.
Understood.
Typhon. If I knew everything you know, do you think I would agree with your course of action?
I do believe you would find my judgment on this matter sound.
I do not believe you truly care so much for the people of Elturel. I believe the other things that you spoke. Do you choose this path out of fear or love?
Neither.
Why then do you choose this path? Think about it. Think about it.
Jealousy and covetousness.
Do you think you could do it without me?
No.
You are much like General Typhon. You're so wise, smart. You know so many words. Your cold pragmatism. Would be very beneficial on a battlefield. I have already lost my soul. It is already bound to one of these devils. I do not know what infernal deal may be requested. I will not renounce my goddess. But I will be a soldier to do what needs to be done. Do you intend to betray my trust in any way? Yes or no?
I do not. And beyond that, I would go so far as to strive to release you from this soul-binding predicament.
With that, Mad Maggie begins walking back towards you. She enters the zone of truth and waves a hand and dissipates.
Forgive me, but I couldn't help it. Overhear everything you've been saying. Particular benefit of being within the confines of my lair. There is one further option you might consider.
And she takes a long look over towards Amanazro, who begins to fly toward you all.
You don't have to help him. You don't have to slay Archon. Make a deal with him. Surely he can give you what you want if you provide a sweet enough offering. There's no necessary reason to deal with any of these creatures. Just say the deal's off. He'll be angry. He'll pitch and moan, but he is weak. There's nothing he can do to stop you. Just food for thought.
Mad Maggie, I have a question for you. You have no compulsion to answer.
I know.
If we fought Archon as we are now, do you think we would win?
No. Not for a moment. You probably wouldn't even see his face. You'd be slain on the doorstep. I present to you the staff of my greatest enemy. The staff of the broken. My greatest enemy.
Then she turns to look at Falkren.
Do you wish to take it?
And that will be where we end our session for this evening.
Show us the item.
I know.
Show you the item.
Show it.
We can see it now. We can see it.